Hey, everybody, it's Scoots, and I just wanted to let you know, if you prefer a version without the ads of the show because of your listening style, you listen all night long, or you just prefer something without ads, you know, the ads, whether it's asking for people to support the show or our wonderful sponsors, that's what enables us to keep making the podcast night after night, year after year, and put it out for everybody. You know, the sponsors in the show do need the support of the people that listen the most, but if you say, no, I just prefer something without ads, you can get ad-free episodes on Sleep With Me Plus for $60 a year, a whole year of Sleep With Me ad-free episodes, or $7 a month if you want to test it out for a month or two. If you just prefer something without ads, you also get a ton of other stuff on Sleep With Me Plus. But if you just prefer something without ads, like a lot of people do, you could get that at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. Otherwise, the ads are the cool thing. Me asking for support, the people that support the show and support the sponsors. You know, some people prefer to listen to this version, and I love you. And I love making the show for everybody. And that's what 2026 is going to be all about, is keeping this podcast out there for everybody who needs it. Thanks.
Every idea starts with a problem. Warby Parker's was simple. Glasses are too expensive. So they set out to change that. By designing glasses in-house and selling directly to customers, they're able to offer prescription eyewear that's expertly crafted and unexpectedly affordable. Warby Parker glasses are made from premium materials like impact-resistant polycarbonate and custom acetate, and they start at just $95, including prescription lenses. Get glasses made from the good stuff. Stop by a Warby Parker store near you.
This show is supported by Odoo. When you buy business software from lots of vendors, the costs add up and it gets complicated and confusing. Odoo solves this. It's a single company that sells a suite of enterprise apps that handles everything from accounting to inventory to sales. Odoo is all connected on a single platform in a simple and affordable way. You can save money without missing out on the features you need. Check out Odoo at odoo.com. That's odoo.com.
Friends beyond the binary, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and my bakers. Hello, bakers. It's time for Sleep With Me. Welcome. You might be a new baker. You might be wondering why you saying baker so much. And I'd say, well, this is tonight's episode. We're going to recap an episode of the Great British Baking Show or the Great British Bake Off, depending on, whatever the titling rules of wherever you are. And I'm so glad you're here. This is going to be our first episode covering, don't have the details in front of me, but a series, because and then there's a collections and there's series. But some of you might be saying, in the name of Mary Berry, could you get to the point, Scooter? And I'd say, well, that's not my job. I'm here to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff. But if you're confused, welcome to Sleep With Me. It's a podcast that's here to keep you company while you fall asleep. To be your friend in the deep dark night, it is a bit different. It is a bit strange. And it's all here to soothe you at bedtime. And, yeah, take your mind off stuff so you can fall asleep. Basically, I'm here to be your friend in the deep, dark night because you deserve a good night's sleep. Even if you never listen to this podcast again, I hope you hear that. You deserve a bedtime you don't have to dread, that you could look forward to. I even have a list of other stuff you could try at sleepwithmepodcast.com/no thank you. But yeah, I'm here to be your friend in the deep dark night, to keep you company and take your mind off of stuff. Give it a few tries, see how it goes. That's what most people say about the show. But welcome to Sleep With Me, the podcast that's here to put you to sleep. And these sponsors are what enable me to do it for free twice a week. Okay, everybody, we're back with Hello Bakers. We're back with our Great British Bake Off coverage. Third season series collection we're covering. I guess the other ones we covered were the 2 seasons before this, which I don't know, I had a little bit of trouble, again, because here in the U.S. it's kind of disjointed. But I did want to have some continuance of the cast, and we got lucky in some sense because we still have Sandy. I don't know if this is Sandy's last season. But, and I mean, I'll be honest, I don't know if I could do it without Sandy. So we'll see. So like that was part of it. But I was a little bit worried because I was looking at lists of top seasons. And we just had 2 great seasons we've been able to cover with amazing casts. And I met some other cast members when I was watching the holiday episodes that I said, well, those seem like nice people too. We want a mix of nice people and interesting people that you say, well, I want to learn more about this person. But I really feel happy about this season. I already say, okay, wow, I really enjoyed this cast already. But first we start with the old, I don't know if this is a cold open, but it's a Wizard of Oz sequence. We'll kind of go through it. Noel is Dorothy, and Sandy is the Scarecrow. And then later in the scene coming up, I haven't hit play on it yet. Paul comes in as the one that doesn't have a heart, the Tin Man. And Prue is the person who is trying to develop some courage and says, I'm not lying. I'm trying to develop some courage. And then they all skip off. Starts with a blue flower, life size. Then they pan to Sandy and Noel. We got a yellow brick road. We got to find our way back to the tent. Q, they talk about some show Q. I think Sandy's on. Then Paul, that's not a shike. You don't have a heart. Prue says, well, this is the last costume available. Prue still has glasses with a matching necklace, though. Quiche's cakes and quiches and pies, oh my. But then Noel says, what if I just click my heels together? Looks like there's some stunt heels in there because there's 2 shots of heels, and it was like a weird dream. Paul still doesn't have a heart, and Noel's still dressed as Dorothy. Strong look. You can never have too much gingham. And we see a raising boom shot of the tent. Then we get the river, the stream. We get some highlights from other seasons of people winning, including fan favorite Rahul. I think it was out of order, though, because didn't Rahul, anyway, it doesn't matter because people are walking in the tent, and oh boy, do we get a nice surprise from a Sleep With Me perspective. Again, this is someone who has worked on the show since 2015, maybe 2016. But if you pause it at, what is this, 105 minutes left in the episode, there's a baker named Dan, and Dan reminds me a lot of Chris Posty Posterson, including the times I've so I've Zoomed with Posty. So I do know what Posty looks like, and Posty would probably say, oh, luckily Carl's editing this episode, so Posty will only hear about it. But I see this Dan reminds me of Posty Posterson. So if you ever wanted to have an image of Posty Posterson, but Posty doesn't edit the TV show episodes, but not that important. This is what Posty looks like to me, like the spiritual Posty. I mean, I think he kind of looks like him. So anyway, just really, it's just like I'm having trouble not laughing because of the episode, but the embodied. So we have I guess it's good because it won't be distracting for the whole season. But a character that or a human being, a baker, who embodies Sleep With Me. So they do the talking head sequence, but Dan is the first talking head. That's why I was pointing it out. And Dan's talking about whatever going on the show. Really, like everybody's talking about the opportunity, the dream, surreal. We don't get names yet, but I know Dan. And I've watched 2 episodes. I haven't learned everybody's names. But there's 13 bakers. Oh my days. Then we get Paul. So at some point, 2 people are going to go home. So, and then, they talk about their high expectations, and then they're, this is going to be spectacular. So this is the season setup, and you say, okay, we got some characters here. 10th, it's the 10th anniversary. That's another reason why it's important. Conjure up, Bob's, Bits and Bob's, Baker's Dozen. Mayhem is the best word. And then we open, but we get like shots from the whole season and the episode. But who will be the winner? And who will, not. But yeah, a lot of this is from the episode. There's something flawless. There's jokes from the episode. Then the episode break, we get the shot. Then we get a high shot of the town back in Welford Park in Berkshire. Morning. Marvelous Bakers or something, 13. So 2 of you could go home at any point, but then they reveal later that only one person's going home, I think accidentally. And they're going to do a fruitcake anytime between now and the semifinal. So this is a signature challenge. Make a fruitcake any size or shape. Has to have dried fruits. More than one currant. It has to be significant. 5 is significant, though, number of currants. Beautifully decorated, baked 2.5 hours. On your mark, get set, bake. And first, everybody, they got to practice, but there's nerves. Relatable, right? In a tiz already. And Paul talks about fruitcake. It's got to be good sponge. Got to bake it perfectly in the right thickness to balance the fruit so it's not on the top or the bottom. And Prue talks about having it cool because you got to decorate it too. You can't put icing on a hot cake. Something I have to relearn. It's that one. And yeah, so they got everybody chopping fruit, mixing stuff up. Not too thin, not too thick. Icing on a hot cake. Need a plastic. Oh, so need a plastic is we start meeting the people. It's already ahead of me. But need a plastic. Somebody has a nick on their finger. We meet Amelia. She's making a Christmas cake with fruit and brandy. And Amelia's a Halifax fashion designer. Mom Julia bakes with her. 700 grams of fruit. Do you consider that significant? Yes. At least 4 currants. Hour and 15 baking time. And Amelia's got some like pink, I don't know if they're pink highlights or pink ends of her hair that I like. Then we got Jamie. He's making his grandma's recipe. Other people are using generational recipes as well. Michelle, she's using her Bar Brith from Wales. Now she lives in Tenby. They got chickens, a son named Alfie, a husband, Barabrith Tolu Ni, Barabrith cake, pecan crumble, some sort of rum thingamajig. And then Michelle says, my husband thinks Noel, you and I look to get like each other. And Noel says, next time you go on holiday, I'll go with you. Noel has on a black sweater with a leopard on there, maybe? Lion? Next up is Steph, great-grandma Rosie. Steph's from Chester, works in a classic car business. Vintage fruitcake with candied oranges named after her grandma Rosie, marzipan roses. And then we have Rosie is next. And normal tea loaf with dried fruit, but, dried fruit doesn't weigh a lot, so I've had to add more and more of it. I think I would prefer dried fruit. Rosie's a vet. A lot of different pets around the house. A spicy chai loaf. I would prefer dried fruit maybe than dried fruit. I guess what's the difference? You're right. But then we quickly cut, because this is, we got to introduce everybody. Michael's also doing a chai. Perthshire, Nicola and Dad Sam, Scottish and Indian heritage, celebrated in his baking. The stepladder there is called a climb up that Michael used to use when he would cook when he was younger. Henna-inspired frosting. He's the one that needed the plastic. And then he needs another plastic, another nick from poor Michael. Just a little stress. And then they say, don't make your cake stodgy. Or overwhelm it with fruit or something. Overwhelm the batter. That'll be stodgy. Underbaked cake. Alice is next, but also Dan. Now Dan's Posterson. Dan changed his recipe just now to double his fruits. Last minute. He's from Rotterdam, maybe? Rotterdam, support worker for people with learning difficulties. Jamaican rum cake, spiced rum buttercream, coffee and almond brittle. Noel tries to help him clean up his workspace by imaginarily pushing everything off. Actually does push everything out of the way. Fly, my pretty. Noel really likes Dan, so it's probably good. Maybe he would like Posty. Wouldn't be as exciting as baking watching someone edit this episode. Next up is Jamie? Is that right? No, that's Jamaican rum cake. Wallace. Oh, this is multiple David. Squishy, squashy fruitcake. David's on a trampoline. Yorkshire. Stays fit. Carrot, squash, prunes and figs. No fat in his cake. But Wallace just said multiple times this episode. Never kept track of that before. May not again. Now we're at the halfway point of no return. People are spraying their tins, putting stuff in the oven. And, begging for mercy from the baking gods, and kind of saying, well, how long? 40, 50 different times for everybody. Starting, she's in, Phil is not ready to hit the oven. He's making a ring inside of the cake. Phil's a lorry driver, which is a truck, from Essex. Angela, daughters Alexi and Pippa. One of them's on a climb up, helping Dad. Marzipan, cloves, a spiced fruitcake with rum glaze. And his wife suggested this marzipan thing in the center. Wallace to number 2 comes up, or maybe that's Wallace to number 3. That's Wallace number 2 after Phil. Decorative something ideas. We meet Priya. Aspiring novelist, Kim and Liam, helping Priya, her kids, dried papaya, dried pineapple, sunshine fruitcake, psychedelic snowman. Noel says, that's going to look crazy, man. Alice next, gingerbread fruit wreath. Geography teacher in London, baking to help students with their coursework. Let's see, it's very Christmassy. Gingery punch, royal icing. Alice loves ginger. Snow White icing, love ginger. Wallace 3 comes up right then. After that, I lose track, but we get a good gag with Jamie and his twin brother Alex pretending he's in a mirror. He's not. He's making an Easter cake with chicks. He's on his gap year with his twin Alex. Easter Seminole cake. He's 20. So he's pretty youthful. Elena's up next. She likes every day like Halloween. She's making a spookify fruitcake, or she's spookifying a fruitcake. She's from Leeds with Cato and Will and Flora. A fruit bat cake, maple cream cheese buttercream, but some stuff's not going well. Her crystal trying to make caramel, it's not going well. Noel loves that a fellow goth is on the show. One goth to another. And we have Henry who's singing while he works. I loved that. Royal icing hours, Durham University. Sings at his local church, Wood Street cake. This is an ancient 400-year-old recipe. Not ancient, but older. Piped trees. He's going to put a house on it made of crystal or something. Crystal sugar. We get a shot of the tent. 1 hour left or half hour left. Watching the oven. Cakes to cool. Stress. Checking to make sure they're done with sticks and stuff, stress into the fridge, or maybe it's not done. Dan's is not done, Posty. People are crossing their fingers, sitting in front of their ovens, 15 minutes left. Move out of the oven. Cakes come out. 5 minutes. People are fanning their cakes, particularly Posty, and decorating. No. Poor Henry, we watch in slow motion. They catch on camera trying to move his crystal sugar house to the top of his cake, and he drops it just from stress. Place your cakes now. Priya, effective, wham. Oh, so then we go to the judging, and Priya was up first, and they say, okay, your cake was effective. It reminds me of a Wham song. Yeah, Club Tropicana, lovely color, well-baked, light, summery. So a good result for Priya. Then we have Jamie. They say something is delicate, marzipan's well done, something feel. We'll come back to it. Henry, very good cake to a great cake, Paul and Prue say. So they think it turned out pretty well. Okay, let's go to Jamie. They say, okay, eyeless chicks, looks beautiful layers, mostly marzipan, fruit content's good, great bake, great flavor, well done. Okay, then Henry's up. And he says, yeah, there was going to be a little cottage there. It was beautiful, but it didn't work out. You have made a very good cake, Bruce says. He says, oh, goodness. And Paul says, great cake. Amelia's cake is naked, just has a glaze on it, clear glaze. And they say, okay, it's very moist. The flavor's lovely. Screams Christmas. Great tea loaf. Well done. Then Phil, looks beautiful, quite spicy. It's out of balance. You were close, though. Marzipan in the middle. Yeah, all you get is the spice. So they say, keep, back to work. Noel says, so close. Helena's fruit bat cake, no bat because of the wouldn't crystallize, caramel. Spicy, almost savory. Paul says, I never had anything like it before. Good color. Oh, who's this person? Is this Helena? No. But this is a person, oh man, already. But that was, sorry, I missed one person. Steph, good looking cake, very nice, juicy. Then we have Rosie, sad. Rosie looks sad. Your cake looks sad. It's a little flat. It's overbaked, cinnamon, a lot of cinnamon, overboard. And they say back to the drawing board. Then David, lovely looking loaf, lovely alliteration, moistness, texture's perfect. Too much almond though. Alice, a gingerbread fruit wreath. You could hang it on a door. Love the ginger. Crystallized ginger's beautiful, but you could have pulled back. Go back to basics. Don't overdo it. Michael, beautiful. Flavor's lovely. Very good tea cake. Well done. And they say pretty good considering didn't have full use of your hand. Dan, nervous, rustic, raw. Flowers were good. Take out a big slice. It's raw in the middle, dude. And they say the alcohol's nice. Oh, the alcohol's nice, not the flowers. And Dan says that didn't go well. At least that's all I heard. He liked the booze. Amelia's happy. Steph's happy. Michael's happy. Priya's like, okay, I'm in a good spot. And we see a duck with some chicks, or baby ducks. I guess they're not chicks. And then the gingham shrouded mysteries next. Chuffed. Oh, somebody says chuffed. Secret of success is accuracy. Sandy says I have that on it. Prue says that. Prudence, they call her. And then they send him out for a PE lesson. Paul's got Leah towards a pommel horse. 6 identical angel cake slices. Silky smooth meringue buttercream. Icing feathered. Feathers on cakes. Ready, set, bake. Get set, get baked, and bake a Genoese sponge. To make angel cakes, a 15-stage recipe from Peru. Sop job. I don't know what that is. And then Peru and Paul talk. Technical. Peru's this says it's mean. It sounds simple, but the Genoese sponge can become flat. If you overmix it, you'll lose volume and texture. And the boss says, this takes me back to when I was a kid. Once again, whatever. He went to a school that had great desserts. And they say, we'll get to know them. Starts them off on the right foot. Takes me back. 3 sections. Is going to take some maths because there's 3 layer. It's a 3-layer cake with 3 different flavors. So we got an egg sugar bowl sequence, whisking. You got to get the air in it. Mixing it up, good strong arm to build up that volume. You're kind of cooking it like in a double bake or whatever, tempering the egg mixture. I don't know, like where the water's boiling, you put a bowl in the pot. They're talking about IDing, this young guy, Henry. I don't know. Ribbon stage you get to, people are whisking, don't overdo it, then you over batter it or whatever. Then you got to add the flour and the butter in, and the divide by 3, lemon, raspberry, and vanilla, but they don't have a measurement, so they have to guess on the thing. Noel does some fake bowl music at Jamie's workstation. Also, you have to put colors in. One layer, I see yellow, pink, and then non-colored, I guess. So that's another thing. Lemon zest, sieve flour over the egg and fold, but don't overmix it. We've been hearing that, but you got to make sure you mix it one bowl at a time. I've never sieved any flour like that before, but, I mean, these are the bakers. That's why I don't have quite this. I'm more of a cook, I like cookies. They're a little bit easier. Then you got to put them in 3 sections. You make 3 sections in your tin. Put them in the oven. Everybody's nervous. It's a technical challenge. Time call. News worth link roller. So like they have a lint roller. They pretend they're on the news. Sandy and Noel. Buttercream. Jamie gets some love from Sandy because he's already a little stressed. It is lumpy. And so that, that's can cause some stress, for the person. 12 minutes out. Dan forgot to turn on his timer. Oh, Jamie says this is rubbish. I think he tries to even redo his cake at some point. His sponges. Dan forgot to turn his timer on. Buttercream, meringue fondant. But some people's sponges come out of the oven. They're like doing a sandwich with buttercream. Oh, meringue. I don't know if those are 2 separate things. Then you got feather the top with icing. 5 minutes left. Everybody's like, 5 minutes. Jamie's just getting his out of the oven. It's rubbery. He only has 2 layers. Some people have never feathered before. There's definitely different levels of experience with this, because you can see some people are just breezing through it. Other people will be like me. Anything that would need detail, this would be challenging. Feather with pink, 5 minutes. Game gone mental. Somebody says 1 minute. That's when Jamie says, oh, my days. Music ends. Feather, fondant, icing. So a little more alliteration. Lost all length. Too much red. So the first person is Helena. Not much height. No smooth, silky smooth, melted. Flavors are there, but it's sort of like rubber. Then, I don't know who's next. Better not, high. Not much higher, not bad. Then another failure, missing a layer. That must be Jamie's. Then somebody else is more delicate. Amelia. And raspberry's okay. Rosy, like the feathering, equal, nice flavor. Dan, thin, rubbery, not bad. Priya, a bit tough. Dan, like the feathering, dried on the edges. Somebody, Michael, I don't know. Very good. Steph, maybe. Lots. Looks not bad. Thin, shiny. So they go through everybody. 13 people is a lot, And they say, okay, 13th is Jamie. Number 13, who's, okay, pretty awful, they say. 12 spots, Elena, rubbery. Michael, uneven. David, then Dan, then Phil, then Priya, then Michelle, then Alice, then Amelia, then Stephanie, then, I say, number 2, Rosie, and then Henry comes in first. Say, Rosie, nice feathering. Number 1, Henry, well done. Lots of applause, everybody smiling, good feathering, excellent in every way. And so then talking heads, Henry and Rosie feel good, because they say, okay, probably safe now. Dan's like, I got to do it next competition now. Everybody's got their jackets on. They exit the tent, and Postie's stressed. Jamie's stressed, but laughs. Bird walks, everybody, we see birds, they walk to the tent. One baker, this is when they reveal, one baker's going to go home. You got to do a birthday cake you dreamt at as a child for your showstopper. Noel talks about how his cake would have marzipan arms. They get 4 hours, spectacular and sizable. On your marks, get set, bake. So everybody gets busy. Mayhem, that's when the mayhem quote comes in. Time, got to be detail, color, wow, Paul says. And who wants originality? What did they dream about as a child? But it's got to be the quality of the cake. Real punchy flavors, delicious. And Paul says it's good all around to see their skills. So they start with Elena, chocolate cake, fairy garden. Paul has like a one-track mind about fairy garden, which must be like a different thing. A furry garden, green grass, chocolate bark, chocolate buttercream, fondant woodland decorations. So it's going to be like a fairy mountain. Then we have Thai Twilla Tag, which is a fairy cake in Welsh. That's Michelle. Orange and cinnamon fondant icing. It's a mushroom on that's kind of like a mushroom house. Steph's showstopper is based on dropping ice cream as a child at the beach. Sundae on the beach cake. Dark chocolate ganache, vanilla and raspberry buttercream. Steph says, yeah, practice this one. Once it worked, once it didn't. So we'll see. No going back. Then we get more mixing, more chatting, supersized creations. Got to make a structure, moist cake, but it's got to stand up. Priya's mixing her cake. A simple batter, which will be a structure that can carve out of Once Upon a Time cake. It's a pop-up book. She used to write stories as a kid. The bunny who lost his eggs and Sally Sue's glasses, even library numbers. Priya's cool, man. It's like my childhood. So it's going to be a story. Henry's also doing a story, The Magic Faraway Tree, with that, I guess, a popular book in England. Noel knows it. Some of the characters, Secret Woodland Cake, woodland berries, wouldn't be too sweet because Henry says, sometimes kids' cakes are too sweet. And Jamie's salted caramel sponge, caramel buttercream, caramel sauce. It was my favorite flavor. So is my brother Alex, who's my twin, likes it. Schnauzer birthday cake with biscuits in the middle. So a cake that looks like a dog. I mean, not shaped like a dog. It's like a circular cake. It's cute. It's going to be cute. But Jamie realizes his batter's too swift. He says, I forgot to put eggs in my batter, man. Too late to add it in now. So he's definitely distracted. 3 hours left. We get a drone shot of the tent. First hour went fast. Deja vu. Jamie's redoing his cake. Everybody's checking their ovens. Get the going in the oven sequence. There's not enough room to bake everything at once. So people are doing it in batches. Alice is making some lemon butter biscuits to form the wall, making a sweet shop. Her parents were dentists, so she didn't have a lot of sweets as a kid. Lemon Swiss meringue buttercream, fresh raspberries, but you got to make sure the roof doesn't collapse. So scaling back. Oh, so other people are using marshmallow Rice Krispie structures to give their stuff some structural integrity. That's a good idea for a kid's cake, too. Makes sense. Phil's doing a retro rocket cake. Raspberry ripple buttercream sherbet sponge. 1969 moon landing Sputnik. And the Americans called it Kaputnik when theirs didn't work. Amelia's doing a carousel cake. It's purple, a lot of purples. So very sleep with me. Red velvet sponge, raspberry jam, white chocolate ganache. Working on the logistics though. And David's showstopper is going to be a pet, a cool pet, kind of like a worm, but different. Birthday cakey, chocolate and orange sponge, baby, like an egg. This one is definitely, I mean, I don't want to spoil it, but definitely the best looking cake in the end is David's. But everybody, then they say, okay, you got to hurry up. Jamie's still working on his second sponge. Salted caramel, fondant. It's my favorite flavor with Alex. So now everybody's trying to keep track of their different cooling times, their timers, start decorating, making candy, decorative elements. Let's see what else we got. Chocolate. Oh, Rosie's doing this jungle cake with a chocolate tree, red velvet sponge, vanilla, Italian meringue, buttercream. Because she's a vet, so she has she even tells some stories, work stories, of having guests at work. Michael, when I was like he says, he's making gold bars for a pirate treasure chest cake. His is also very good looking. He's making candied gems, full gem effect I'm going for, gems of sugar. Dan is also pirate themed. He's doing a pirate island cake. His is different though, so they're not similar. His is an island. 5 tiers of lime and coconut sponge. Dan really needs to pull it together. Iso malt waterfall. Don't walk the plank. And Noel loves Dan. He says, if you get voted out, we're going to graffiti Paul's car and I'm going to pull the tent down. And I'm going to hide Prue's glasses. Then we have Paul and Prue commenting on stuff, talking decorative things. 1 hour stress left. Noel pretends to give himself a bowl cut. You see people making, doing their different decorations. Cakes, cooled construction. There's another one. Strength of sponges. Dan's cracked cake. So he tries to see his cake's cracked. He's trying to seal a crack in it. It kind of seems like it's Jamie versus Dan as far as Noel's trying to boost them both up. Construction begins. People are flipping cakes. Dan's trying to seal his cake. Everybody's trying to make sure, it comes out best they can. Some good cakes, good flips, carving, stacking, shaping, show-stopping structures could collapse. So people are decorating it. If it's, because some people are carving out their insides of their cake and putting stuff in there and layering them. passion fruit curd. Fruit's going to pack a punch. And different size cakes, too. And wood dowels and stuff as they start to build structures and make sure they're going to hold up. Oh, so I wonder if she put the cookies in the thing. Then the fondant starts to go on the cakes to start making it look like a structure. I don't know if I had a fondant cake like this. Dan's working the nose cone of a ship. They don't even comment on it. They just show it. A half hour. Somebody says, I can. Isomalt waterfall Dan's working on. Jamie's putting his biscuits in the center of his cake. What's that guy's name? Phil's trying to keep his rocket from falling over. He's like, maybe I'll wait to put it up together. 10 minutes are left. Unstable rocket, no pressure. I get more decorating, spraying, putting stuff on there. And Jamie's like, my chicks aren't going to have eyes, but whatever. 1 minute less, Phil groans. Oh, my days get set again. Childhood dreams. Sandy says, okay, beautiful bakers, you did it. Somebody else says, come on. And the time is up. We get a shot of the tent. Then we get a shot of the bakers sitting. And people now, Dan's like, oh boy, I do not feel good about this at all. In this judgment time. And Michelle has to go first. Hers is a mushroom kind of on a piece of wood. It's exquisite, tidy, neat details. Orange cream cheese frosting, carrot cake. Prue says, holy cow, I love it. Salivating. Wonderful. Paul says the balance of spices are good. It's moist. It's faultless, actually. Thank you very much. Everybody's happy for her. Then we have Helena. It's delicate, charming. The chocolate smells good. Fantastic sponge. Depth of flavors, beautiful. Coffee. Good job. And Paul tries to crack a joke. Priya goes. Her cake looks a little clumsy, Paul says, but they love the concept. If they said if Helena's cake wasn't so good, this would be good, but it just needs a little bit more time in the bake. Alice's sweet shop. Impressive. It did not collapse, but it's a bit rough and ready. Light sponge, beautiful cake, though. And like what you've done, Phil's cake's fallen over, not all the way, but they say 1969 rocket landing, and it isn't. We do have nostalgia for it, some of us. It is leaning, though. Sherbet's a little too sweet. It needs more sharpness to balance it out. They go to Henry. What an interesting cake. I would have never thought of it. The blackberries, it's a sweet cake, but the blackberries help. Then we go to Amelia, restrained. Could have done a bit more. Did you run out of time? Okay, they say, okay, it's pretty claggy. Doesn't taste good. Holy cow. A little bit off the mark. Then they go to Steph. Love the idea. Happens to everybody. Relatable. Raspberry ripple and coconut. A little overbaked. It's dry. Good flavor's good, though. Concentrate on the baking. Dan's, they say, is amazing. Oh, no, not Dan. Oh, David, right? Citrus all marries up lovely. Well done, David. Nice icing. Rosie, they say, is simplistic. Paul says that, but Prue disagrees. She says this cake looks great. Nice layers. Cake's baked beautifully. Silky smooth buttercream. Interior works. Paul didn't like the exterior. That when they look at Michael's cake, they say, oh, my goodness. Looks so good. Texture. But it needed more chocolate. Just yours, you need the flavors. But be good for a kid. Well done. Dan, he does like a dry ice effect. They say it's clever. Passion fruit. They say the strong on the coconut, but we don't taste the passion fruit. They try again. They still can't taste it. Poor Posty's turning red. And Paul's still giving him a hard time. Flavors were sound, but design was pretty good. Then Jamie. How many sponges are in there? 4. Salted caramel. And his voice cracks. He says, finally, I'm growing up. Everybody laughs at that. Then they see the biscuits in there. They're very good. Prue likes those. There's actually a focus pull between Jamie and Dan because we know those two are kind of having the toughest time. Cake's overbaked. They tell him too. And so there's a couple frowns. Everybody's worried about Jamie and Dan now. And then they go talking as Jamie says, that didn't go well. But they do the people that went well too. They're happy. And Dan says, I'd like to stay in here. I need a lifeline. Jamie's ready to go home. He gets teary-eyed, goes off camera. And everybody's sitting there. Okay, who's going to be our first star baker? Who's going to leave the tent? We go to table talk. Personalities who've come out. Sea of showstoppers, but Michelle's was the best. This has really elevated her. Steph's in there. Her cake was good. And Henry is doing good, but had a bad day yesterday. So they said Jamie's not doing great. He struggled, and Dan couldn't even get that flavor, though his design was good. 13 pieces of cake to holy mackerel. Then we cut to everybody. Then we go to the first week. I don't know why Noel gets to give the best baker. He gets a fantastic or star baker. So they do it, and it's Michelle. She's very happy. And she tears up. And poor Sandy has to let whoever, the first person depart. And she's tearing up already because that's a tough job. And she says, Dan, I'm sorry. And Jamie's relieved. And he says, I'll take away the friendships. And he goes, I can't believe how much we bonded. And everybody says how much they loved him. I'm going to miss everybody. And Paul says, it was his bake, man. And he says, Jamie, you got to do better. Paul says to Jamie, got to pull it together. Jamie's relieved. They do him. And, yeah. Then they show Michelle kind of fighting off tears. So proud. Prue, what a way to start. Then Michelle calls home and says, hey, guess what? I'm Star Baker. I think it's her husband. And he goes, first she says something else, and then, like plays a joke. And then she goes, oh, I didn't get voted out. By the way, I'm Star Baker. And he kind of says, oh, I knew it. I'm so happy. And the episode comes to a close. So for a good first episode to be back, Bakers, huh? Good night, everybody. I just want to thank everybody that became a patron recently. Teresa, Rachel, and Catherine. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Mark, Lauren, and David. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Michelle, Christine, and Casey. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Tim, John, and David. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. JP, Michelle, and Thea. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Christina, Nancy, and Amanda. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Adam, Pamela, and Joseph. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Catherine, Healy, and Hannah. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Kelsey, Jason, and Michael. Thank you. Thanks, and good night. Thanks so much, everybody who supports the show directly or supports our sponsors. That's how we're able to continue to be producing and making the show, new episodes twice a week. And thanks to everybody who spreads the word about the show, particularly when I asked recently. It really helps the podcast grow or other people find out about it. And if you don't want to recommend Sleep With Me, or you would even warm people up, just tell them about podcasts. So that's it from me. You might hear a little bit more from me for a Tuck You In sponsor or just Scoots. And that's how we've been able to grow our archives to over 500 episodes. Thanks and good night, everybody. All right, everybody, this is Scoots. This is a Tuck You In message. And as I start this message out, I want to make this very clear, especially if you're listening right now and you're new. You only listen to this show occasionally, like once in a while when you need it, or you're just having a tough time right now, getting through something, getting over something, the kind of things I talk about in the intro. Or if you're like me, a lot of times in my life where things financially felt challenging and supporting the show just isn't possible, you really don't need to do anything. You don't need to support the show directly or be concerned because we really do have you. And I'm going to read through some testimonials of people that support the show for them and for you. And those testimonials are just a few of the thousands of people that support the show so it can be here for people that can't support the show, or it really wouldn't make sense if you're only listening occasionally, if you're new, for you to support the show. So we have you covered. Like the listeners who I'm going to read through tonight, and like I'm trying to return to doing, we've done in the past, they're the reason the show can be here night after night, and that you don't have to worry about it. But before we get to those testimonials, there is a BUT, right? If you are listening right now and you normally listen all night long to 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 episodes a night, or you listen most nights during the week, if you fall asleep fast and you just happen to be hearing this, or you've been listening longer than a year, if the show is a big part of your evenings, your wind down, and your sleep, you know, that's where I've been trying to be more and more clear and direct. I love making this podcast. The people that work with the show, work on the show, love making it. I love being a service, trying to bring sleepy joy and delight, help you fall asleep, bring you comfort in the deep, dark night. But the only way that happens is if you're in one of those listener categories, is if people that listen the same way as you do support the show. And we all go through seasons, right? So maybe you had your season of supporting the show, or maybe your season of supporting the show's coming up, or maybe you're like, well, I'm not sure. Let me look outside and see what I think. Or maybe you're hoping like that someone else will support the show, because it is either you or someone that listens like you supporting the show, or it's no one supporting the show tonight, right? It's either an all-night listener other than you, or you, the all-night listener, you, the multiple nights a week listener, you, the person that's been listening, or someone else that listens just like you, or it's just to be clear, like that's really what keeps the show going and impacts ups and downs of the show. So I don't know if tonight's your night. If you are in a position to support the show, you've been putting it off, maybe think about supporting it right now at sleepwithmepodcast.com/plus. And don't wait for tomorrow or set some kind of thing tomorrow. Or kind of like me, think fondly of the person that we're both hoping steps up tonight, that all-night listener. That person that falls asleep fast, somebody that's been listening 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, or someone that's here every night with us. But who has you guys? You know, who's in the community supporting the show for everyone? Well, Melissa is. Melissa's been listening for over 2 years now, nearly nightly. So a nearly nightly listener. And it helps so much and puts me in a very relaxed mood. I finally subscribed when I realized on most nights I didn't have my phone with me, but I could literally recite the beginning of the podcast in my head. And even that in my head almost worked. And the reason I didn't do it sooner was part of it was cost, but now I'm in a financial place to do so. But the other part was complacency. I think forgetting to do it when I inevitably would fall asleep. I've always been one of the super listeners described on the show, and I kept putting it off. And I think that came from a place of having all free podcasts. I think it was just truly complacency. I think you say it well in the podcast. This show has given me so much support and help. It's time to turn around and support you and the team. It feels nice to feel like we have a hand in keeping it afloat, and that is really true. And Taylor also supported the show, and Taylor said, I'm an adult, late 20s, early 30s, go through brief periods of insomnia that last around a month, and I tried Sleep With Me on a friend's recommendation and bounced off it. It wasn't until a few years later when I was really struggling that I tried it again, and it worked. And I found the ads distracting and decided to try out ad-free ones by supporting the show and found this version worked perfectly. The monthly cost is small compared to the benefit I get from the show. And even when my insomnia quiets down a bit, I still enjoy listening to the show because I like listening to Scooter. So thanks, Taylor. And then Stephanie. Stephanie has been listening for about 8 years, and I had the same experience Scooter just describes all the time. I tried the podcast and disliked it. I just didn't get it yet. And then later I was traveling. I thought I'd give her another try, and I've been listening since. And I really like the references on the show, some of the personal stories, and I can fall asleep really quickly now, and that's completely worth supporting the show. And I put on Sleep With Me also to make me feel more comfortable in other times. I just feel like I spend so much money on things that have no meaning in my life. This show means much more to me that I can't help but being a supporter. In the past, I felt like other people would take care of it for me, like there was people with limitless money who should be doing it for the rest of us. But once I really thought about how I spend my money and my deep relationship with the show, I realized I am one of the very few people who should be a supporter. It took a while, but I did so 3 years ago. I feel like I'm probably one of those super listeners. Scooter works hard for us, and hard work deserves fair compensation. And what about Debbie, who said, I listen almost every night, sometimes all night. I try to keep my queue full. I especially like the Trader Joe's episodes, and I feel comforted by a familiar voice. That's why I support Sleep With Me as a bore bestie, and it seems like a good value. The obstacle to me supporting the show was remembering to do so. Was to remember to do it once I decided to support this podcast. And if I feel responsible, free is great. But if something has worth, it's also important to support it financially. So thanks, Melissa, Taylor, Stephanie, and Debbie for supporting the show. It wouldn't exist without listeners like you. And maybe you relate to it. Maybe you're the person tonight, the Taylor, Stephanie, Debbie, Melissa tonight that'll support the show. And when you do, I believe it or not, I send out a video and I ask you why. So I'm looking forward to hearing your why of why you support the show. Thanks.